This is something that happens to pretty girls a lot, which is that people think that you got everything and you get everyone and you just completely got it all together and you always get what you want, and that is why people are scared to talk to you and they won't approach you. Oftentimes when I talk to people or I try to approach them, I get comments like, oh, well, I thought you already had enough friends, or I thought you had like 25 boys in your DMs and that's why I didn't want to talk to you.
Yeah, when I look out over your sea of vacant faces, I feel like to puke.
Oh, hey, Creepy Eyes. How's it going? You know, I wish I could say it was nice to see you, but I don't feel like lying to your misshaped face. And with the nicest thing I can say out of the way, we can do away with the remaining pleasantries and just get to your idiocy. What you have isn't a pretty girl problem. You have an unappealing broad problem. You see, when those men say they didn't want to talk to you, it's not because they assumed you were popular. They don't want to talk to you because you're not worth talking to. I'm willing to bet the 27 intergalactic space bucks I got on me that if I were to look at your DMs, you would have a minimum of 25 new messages from 25 different men. But that doesn't stop it from hyperinflating your ego to dangerous proportions, and self-respecting men can see this coming from a mile away. And that's just one of the many, oh so many reasons why self-respecting men won't talk to you.
And I would actually love, like really love, if people come up to me and start a conversation, because I love doing that as well. I love approaching people. Okay, love is a little bit of an overstatement because I'm still quite introverted and can also be quite shy, but I feel like you shouldn't judge a book by its cover, and you shouldn't assume that people got it all and that people have a perfect life just because you think that they look clean or aesthetically pleasing or whatever.
Nice try.
So you don't want men to assume that you have life on easy mode because you look pretty, a term which I use loosely, but at the same time, you reserve the right to judge men based purely on their appearances. But rest assured, Creepy Eyes, most men don't care about your life one way or the other, but let's go ahead and be serious for a second. If an average looking guy were to walk up to you to strike up a conversation, would you gleefully reciprocate and engage in a mutually fulfilling discussion, or would you be creeped out and immediately complain about it on TikTok? The problem isn't that you're not being approached. The problem is that Chad and Tyrone aren't approaching you. And when you approach them, you get rejected, and it's because you assume they think you're too pretty, which doesn't make sense, even when you're under the influence of a gallon of 5 o'clock vodka.
I actually think it's amazing to connect with other girls as well and compliment each other. And I love complimenting girls on their outfits and their accessories and their looks and everything if I'm just meeting them. And sometimes I feel like there's a certain blockage and a certain judgment of like, yeah, no, I don't want to talk to you. But I feel like we could benefit from each other so much if we would just be open and talk.
Nobody cares what you think.
Woman, you have absolutely no idea how privileged of a life you lead. You are wearing a questionable amount of chemicals on your face, and you have at least 1 or 2 filters on while you're droning about how you like to compliment girls on their outfits. And even though you're less than semi-good looking, you still have countless men lining up who actively want to talk to you. God only knows why. The good news is many of them will duck out once they realize that you have the personality of sheetrock.
But dude. I guess you've got a point there.
Oh God, can't believe I just said that. You know what? I think I may have taken that one a little too far. I'm feeling guilty here. And I'm sorry, Sheetrock. You serve an incredibly important and vital purpose to society, and comparing you to this unsettling creature was completely out of line on my part. Please accept my apologies, Sheetrock. What I said was completely uncalled for.
That's funny because it's so true.
Anybody else in their early 20s just having the utmost fucking difficulty figuring out what you want to do with your life? I'm not saying I thought that I would have it all figured out by now, but I'm pissed off because I know exactly what the fuck I don't want. I don't want what I have right now. A 9-to-5 job where I wake up at the ass crack of dawn, get myself ready, and head to my little fucking rat laboratory where I sit at a desk for 8 hours a day. And basically, I'm like a hamster on a fucking wheel. I don't want that. I don't want it.
Okay, princess. That's it. The fairy tale is over.
Welcome to real life.
You know, listening to this chick reminds me of my ideal Wednesday afternoon. I'm just sitting around in my pajamas, eating bowl after bowl of breakfast cereal and watching Looney Tunes when I need a break from playing F-Zero for 6 hours straight. The dishes have piled up in the sink and I have yet to file my annual government theft forms, and not to mention my bathroom needs cleaning, the floor needs mopping, and I haven't a single clean piece of clothing for the workday in the morning. And with all of that being said, I am still miraculously more of a grown-up than this kid, because unlike her, I accept that I don't want to go to work, but I do because I have enough good sense to not sacrifice what little dignity I have left after high school by screaming about my job in my car. And I have countless cereal milk stains on my pajamas right now, so let that sink in for a second. Woman, you got two choices: shut up and get to work, or become a hobo. There isn't a third option because there's not a rich man in sight who's willing to marry you.
And I'm just so tired of her being like, oh, stability, your 9-to-5 job's stable, secure. Bitch, I don't want security! You know what the fucking security and stability is from a 9-to-5 job? Living in the fucking suburbs and driving a Honda. Not that either of those things are bad, but I don't want it! I don't want to be normal. I don't want to be fucking normal. I want to do something for myself that I feel at the end of the day I'm successful, even if I fail. I want to look back on my life and be like, I didn't spend my whole life locked up in a fucking office. Help.
This is scary.
Woman, relax. You're getting every single thing you could ever possibly want. Thanks to your unstable rant, your employer is now going to be looking at you with a close eye with a reason to fire you, since you can't seem to handle the minimum amount of stress that comes with the soulless 9-to-5 job that most of us have to endure. And once you're fired, you can say goodbye to that house in the suburbs and you'll be able to sleep in your Honda until the dealership repossesses it due to you defaulting on your loan. Then, in a desperate attempt to try to find any type of employment, your viral video will keep you from being hired simply because you can't control your emotions, thus opening up your life to the adventure of abnormal, unstable desperation. Maybe you should think about that before posting crap that nobody cares about online. Oops, it's far too late for that.
The men still don't understand that women are 4 different people every month. And it's not even our fault. If you want to enjoy your life a whole lot more, learn this, because it will change your whole dang life. Women have 4 different personalities because there are 4 weeks in a month and 4 different hormonal changes.
For my own safety, I feel like I need to preface everything I'm about to say with the following disclaimer. I was blessed by the everlasting gloriousness of the glorious glory of the intergalactic space god Warblecher, all hail, to be born a man, so I don't have any first-hand experiences when dealing with menstruation. But with that being said, woman, you can check your period privilege at the door. Do you honestly expect me to completely change my behavior and the way I talk to you based on your menstrual cycle? Well, let me put your mind at ease. I will be doing no such thing. It is not my responsibility to understand what you're going through. It's your problem to deal with as you go through life as an apparent adult. And you don't get to justify or blame any crappy behavior on your hormones, just as much as I'm not allowed to justify wanting to fist fight the referee because I got passed up for the intergalactic key to the space city. But that's a different story.
One is the follicle, I don't know how to freaking say it. She just got off her period. She's more independent, outgoing. This is where I get an entire month's work done in 7 days. I'm really positive and I'm having the best day ever. Week 2 is ovulation. This is when we are most likely to get pregnant. Also when our body really wants to get pregnant. I also like to be alone more. Maybe that's just me.
Wow. That's amazing.
Well, I'll be damned. This sure is illuminating. Thank you so much for the useful information. I mean, you're shaking your camera left and right and screaming and jumping up and down, so what you're saying must be legitimate. Now, I have no idea how much of what you said is true, and I don't care enough to find out. It doesn't matter. You are a grown individual, apparently, and though it's a terrifying thought that keeps me up at night, you are old enough to make your own decisions. You can try to kid yourself all you want. Your condescending lecture just makes me assume all the more that you want to pass to act immature. I don't care what your attitude is during whatever week you're going through. It's not a get out of jail free card to justify lousy behavior. Yet, I feel like we're one piece of legislation away from that actually being a thing. Yeesh, talk about terrifying thoughts that keep you up at night, am I right?
Week 3, we become a witch of a person. You will do nothing wrong, but I freaking hate you. If you couldn't tell, that is exactly the hormonal week I'm in right now. I want to punch someone in the face for literally no reason. Finally, week 4, you're bleeding, and all you want is cuddles and flowers and chocolates, and you better do it. So the next time you call your girlfriend crazy, don't you freaking dare. Because it's not her fault that her body is 4 different people. Now you know how to track the freaking cycles. You're welcome. Love you.
That's not my problem. It's yours.
So if I'm understanding you correctly, for 2 weeks of every month, you're argumentative, you want to fight everybody, and in exchange for being a completely unbearable human being, you want flowers, herbal tea, chocolate, and to be constantly showered with praise and affection. And if the man doesn't do exactly as you say, how you say, you're gonna fly off the handle and scream at him. And you conveniently blame shifts in your hormones for this behavior to let yourself off the hook. But here's a question for you. How exactly are you justifying this behavior during the other 2 weeks in the month? Because what you're describing is a modern relationship. You're expecting this man to completely track and predict your behavior strictly based on the cycles of the moon, and that is not acceptable. You don't get to treat a man like garbage and blame it on the activity going on in your crimson abyss of eternal misery. You are a grown adult. And I know it sounds impossible, but you're gonna have to try and act like one. And if you can't, well, then it's probably a good thing that those eggs are passing through your body unfertilized, because as the Prophet Garrison once foretold, no man should trust something that bleeds for 5 days and doesn't die. And that's gonna do it for today's video, gentlemen and gents. As always, if you find that my particular brand of comedy is bringing you to the brink of laughter, then why don't you scroll on down and click that like and subscribe button and ring the notification bell. Let's give the good old-fashioned middle finger to the YouTube algorithm. Thank you so much for checking out the new video, and until next time, peace out, homies.